If you're like me, do you sit here with a shotgun at your trading desk looking for trouble? Yes. Don't you live in a good neighborhood? Why do you have loaded weapons next to your desk as if something's going to happen? Yes. Hey, what's up, everybody? Kenny Glick here, trading my whole life, never leave my house, but I will be getting out of my house. If you know, um, got some awful things going on in my household. But I'll keep that conversation for the chat room. Right now, if you don't know, I had my biggest short position on the markets that I've had on in the last since I blew up, and considering I live that nightmare every day, I think again that nightmare 3 years basically from 2012 to 2015 it was just me fighting the market. Obviously lost almost every penny I ever made in the market and then some. But I saw the signs and I speculated, right? So I saw the Donald Trump stock, worthless IPOs going crazy. We saw the sector that never really, the sector that never goes up. And again, if you're looking for a dash for trash, there's nothing trashier than the weed stocks. They started to rally. Worthless IPOs, the dash for trash, the inability for the market to break new highs. We were stuck in a range for over 30 days. The idea that volatility finally started to spurt up, right? Then you had the market was starting to pay attention to news that's bearish. When the bull market is raging, nobody gives a shit. Nobody cares about economic data. And nobody even cares about world war. And again, I'm the only one, again, as a pessimistic bear that lives in fear. And again, I'm proud to admit it. I'm a nervous Nelly. I'm not fit to own stocks mentally because I think every saber rattling moment in the world is going to cause a world war. And at this point, I'm actually looking again as well. I'm not going to talk about who I was and what I represent nowadays, but I think you understand where I'm coming from now. But when you break it down, my friends, and you want to make money in the stock market, I have a trade that works every single time. And it takes out everything you think, which is the best part. As a pessimistic bear that has blown my life up 5 times trying to short the market and stay short, because you can't stay short. Inevitably, the market always breaks out and goes to all-time highs. So you can't stay short. And the illusion, which is what disturbs me the most, is that most stocks stink. I mean, look at the stocks now. Let's just go down the list. Donald Trump's stock crashing. STI down 50% in a week. Very down 50%. SOU down 50%. Palantir hasn't gone anywhere in basically a year. Jumama down 50% from last week's highs 2 weeks ago. Carvana, phenomenal, right? But when it hit 96, what are you going to do here? You're going to keep buying this thing? Inevitably, this thing was pulling back to 76, and now it's below 76. Iova, garbage, right? We sold this thing 17. Lunar, garbage. CCC down 50%. Path never got anything going above the 27. Rolled right back over to give back 6 months of us wasting time with the stock, and now it's back to what it was. iRobot, remember that one? Yeah, $7 now. How about Zim? $10. Stock was $21 a couple of weeks ago. Captain, right? We did very well. 250 got us 5 and 750. Stock's back at 5. The U, Lyft, Snap, S, even Hood got over 20, right back to 1750. Now I can give you a whole another list of stocks that are all at zero. The AMCs, the GameStops, the BlackBerries, the SPY. The list goes on and on. Most stocks still do stink and will inevitably go down. Even the good ones have shelf lives, inevitably go down as well. But the market itself never goes down in perpetuity. It always manages to break new highs. The charts are always going from the lower left to the upper right. So that being said, who cares? The trade that I'm trying to express to you guys is a trade that works no matter what the market's doing, no matter what the market's doing, no matter what the market's doing. So if you're afraid, great, trade VwAP reversals. If you think there's a world war coming, great, trade earnings reversals. If you want to stay negatively biased or positively biased to the market, trade earnings reversals. Because the trade is so specific and so focused on what the stock is doing, suddenly nothing matters. Doesn't matter if Iran bombs this person or we bomb that person. Doesn't matter whether terrorists are running around the country and we've completely forgot about 9/11 and the Yemen bombing the coal. None of it matters because price is the only thing that pays. So if you stay focused on the trade that I've developed, right? Well, again, I guess I could say I'm the originator of this trade. This trade's been working for me since 1997. And now with VwAP, right, I get a heads up or a running start in a trade that I know is already going to work. So let me show you a couple of them from today. Watch this. Here comes the fancy part, guys. Check this out. Let's see if it works again. I'm just waiting for the day it stops working. Still works. All right. So UNH might not be for everybody, right? But it's earnings day. That's when you trade UNH. I don't trade the stock. I never look at the stock. I don't care about the stock. But it reported earnings this morning, right? Let's start from a fresh perspective, right? I woke up at 7 o'clock in the morning. I saw UNH ripping. First thing I said to myself, ooh, I can't wait to short it. Do I know it's going to go down? No. But I know this. Stocks that rip up on earnings reports quite often will have profit taking and just a reversion trade, right? So you know that. I know that. You know that. Everybody knows that. It's not too often a stock rips up. Again, this is 446 to 482 and then opens up and continues to go. The gap and go is a very rare trade. The gap and crap is the regular trade, the fade, right? Cool. So what you do is you prepare to lose. Think of it that way. I'm preparing to lose. So I put where I'm going to take my loss if I'm wrong on the fade. And these double tops and pivot points are the stops. So the market, or the stock in this case, has done all the work for you, right? All right, cool. Hey, Kenny, I thought we were going to be shorting UNH. It's ripping higher. Good. We're not short yet. We short when it breaks VwAP, right? Cool. So you see how there's a double top right here? You see the price? It's a whole number. That's 478. Mark it off. Double top, triple top, breaks it, rips, pulls back, and holds it. That's a significant price, 478. Double top breaks, gets held, gets another new high, and double tops again at whole number because the market's rigged to half numbers and whole numbers and VwAP, right? So our bias is what? Give me a reason to short UNH and qualify, or what's the word I'm looking for? Justify. It's a good word. There's more words I'm thinking of, but my thesaurus in my head's not working right now. But give me a reason. And what's the number one reason to short a stock? VwAP breaks. Right? So you know there's going to be a fade because that's what generally happens. You know there's going to be profit taking because that's what generally happens. Sorry, you don't know. Your inkling, your idea, your notion, or your thesis is that stocks will sell off after a big move up on earnings. That's your inkling, your notion, your idea, your thesis. Now you want confirmation, was the word I'm looking for. Give me a reason to believe that you're going to get this fade. If I could zoom in on it, I'll show it to you. There it is. So you held. So bang, 478, 478, 478, breaks it, pulls back, holds the 478, rips up another 4 points. Here it is, testing the 478, doesn't break it. Now it's breaking 478 and the VWAP. Short it. That's it. That's the trade. So now when I said prepare to lose, the levels where it came from, right? You see right there. Sorry, wrong line. You see that spot right there? Guess what price that is? That's 480 and a half. That's one of your danger zones. And never be short a stock that's breaking pre-market highs ever. So that's the last stop. So if you're shorting 478, oh, Kenny, I can't short a $478 stock. Well, then don't. I'm just showing you the trade. Because if you can't short 200 shares of a $478 stock, right? Don't. Because the risks trading a $478 stock, there's no way you're going to trade UNH without risking $400 or $500. Because think about it, if you're shorting 478, your first stop is 480 and a half. That's $250 on the 100 shares. Your other stop's at 482. So that's 4 points. So you're risking about $650 on this trade if you get stopped out here and here. But the best thing about these trades, they keep working. 478 breaks. Whee! By 476.50, you're taking 50 shares off the table. How you doing? Oh my God, it's at 475. What are you doing at 475? You're taking another 50 shares off the table. And then your stop is the price where you took some off. And next thing you know, right before the open, you've already had your day's pay right there. Now, why don't we hold into the open? Because the opening candle is usually some psychotic, crazy candle. And again, it was all right. You had a 76 low, and look at the top of the mark. Look at the top of the candle. Look where it hit. You never even got over 480. So if you stayed short from your entry, your stop was, remember, 40.80 and a half. You didn't even get the 480. But that's not the important part. Let's say you didn't want to short pre-market because you're scared to trade pre-market. Market opens up, same premise. The spike up levels are your outs. Then it's breaking VWAP on the second candle and breaking the 930 low. Short it at 476. 100 shares. Cover 20 shares, cover 20 shares, cover 20 shares. Next thing you know, you made $400 on 100 shares. Now, for my nervous Nellies, right? You want to wait till the market chops everybody out, right? Because you got a little faux show bro action here. So again, if you were short from where we were short, you would have got stopped out. Inevitably, as we lowered our stops to the 475 area, they finally got us. But you already made money, right? And then let's say you're too nervous to trade even the first half an hour. Look at what happened right here at 10 o'clock. It's a VWAP break. Short it. And now you redefine the trade. So if you're shorting here on this break, that peak is your first stop. That peak is your second stop. Voila. You just defined the trade. So now you're short again at 474. Whee! And all the levels that you should have covered earlier, when it gets to those levels, even on 100 shares, you cover 20 here, another 20 here, another 20 here. You still got 40 shares. Starts to rip up. You get stopped out of the last 40, 20 more here. And now you'd be done because you don't let stocks go back above the VWAP without covering what you got left. And there you got 3 individual trades just with 100 share lots, and you're up to about $600, $700 in profits. How you doing? Then you got Morgan Stanley. Goldman Sachs sold off, JP Morgan sold off, Citibank sold off, and Wells Fargo sold off. You think Morgan Stanley's not going to do the same thing? Of course it is. But is it? I don't know. So go back to the premise. Give me a reason to believe that the stock's going to be a short. How about a VWAP break right at the open? Short it. The high of the day is you're out. You're short at $90.15, risking 85 cents. You got 200 shares, you're risking about 200 bucks. Whee! Cover 50, cover 50, cover 50. Next thing you know, you're getting stopped out of the last 50. Great trade. And if you were looking for a reason to buy, remember you got a fake out, shake out, little mini ass crack breakout for you long traders that were just looking to play a dip. The dip buyer got paid too. I'm a shorter of gap ups, so I just shorted it and then got stopped out, no longer in it. And then look at Bank of freaking America. Bank of America, ripping pre-market. Everybody's loving Bank of America. So what do we say to ourselves? We say, give me a reason. Give me a reason to short it. I don't give a shit about the earnings. I don't care how you feel. I don't care about the conference call or who upgraded the stock. Give me a reason to short it. Why? Because it's gapped up our earnings. 2 minutes into the day, VWAP break, 929 candle low break, you're already short. And let's say you didn't get short the first one. Look at where it tested. It hit the same exact price, couldn't get over it. Short it there, 35.70, 35.90, using a 10-cent risk. Because if it would have broke over here, you would have covered and you would have covered here. You were risking a whopping 17 cents on the trade. And look what happened to it. Boom. We call that the Jerry Orbach trade. It gave it all back. Gave the whole move back. And yesterday and the day before. And you're getting paid. And then, of course, there's the mighty UVXY, split adjusted. It's fantastic again. Anytime you get a chance to short the stock, short it. Especially when you see it hit 1, 2, 3, 4, almost 5 times it couldn't break that price. Finally rolls over again, short it. 40.71, using the 41.20 as your out. Next thing you know, this thing's headed to 39. You were risking 50 cents, and you're going to probably make about $1.50. And the best part about it, the number one part about it, if you are shorting UVXY over any extended period of time, my friends, you cannot lose money. So let's say you were stubborn and you're like, oh, I should have covered it 41.20, and you let it go to 42, and now you're down $800. And then it goes to 42.70, and now you're down $1,600. Don't get out. You got to suffer now. But your suffering will inevitably be paid off. Because even if this thing goes to 80 or 120 or 275, and again, if it's at 275 and you're short from 40, you're going to be pretty much shitting in your pants by that point. Short more at 240. Because inevitably it goes to zero. So however high UVXY goes, you look at it this way. Oh, that's even more money that you're going to make. So just don't trade it over your head so you could feed the beast. Inevitably, it always goes down. And you cannot lose money over an extended period of time shorting UVXY. It's guaranteed. And a lot of people don't really appreciate that. So what I do for a living right now is I short UVXY. Now that it's in the 30s and 40s, this is what I've been trading. Earnings reversals, shorting UVXY, and I'm still net short the Qs because I still think the market's going to crash. But my timing was off because I started to position myself short way ahead of schedule. And there was no need because yesterday was the day. Yesterday was it. Yesterday was the day every shorter, every perma bear was waiting for. A gap up in a bull market, gap up Monday. Usually we gap and go, or we gap and sit, or we just stay positive. But when you give back a gap up, that sets the tone. That sets the tone of fear. And then you look at UVXY going up. The Qs finally broke down under the range from where I was waiting for it for the last 2 weeks. We're not really following through too much. But you are not getting me out of the Q short unless I'm forced to get out, which is the 3-month VWAP. So here's your 3-month VWAP. My stop is that price. I never buy gap ups ever. Ever. If they gap and they go, I don't trade it because I look for reversion trades. But yeah. So let me just say this one more time, and I love this part of my career. I own absolutely nothing right now. I'm short the Qs, I'm short UVXY, short in the Q, short in UVXY, and that's what I got on right now. I even got out of naked puts on Palantir. I'm out of Rambus. So every stock, every one of my swing trades that I was positive on, the last lots, all became losses. All of them. STI, very sound. Palantir, Jumama, Carvana. By the way, that was, I told you it was a short at $95, but I just couldn't stay short. Path, iRobot, Captain, U, Lyft, Snap, S, Hood, Affirm, Penn, Para. Well, New York Community Bank I still own. But every one of those trades, we were net positive on our swing, right? And we sold into the move. But those last lots, all were sold for losses. But you know what we did? We sold them. And now they're all down 20 to 30 to 40% lower from where we sold. The peril of the swing trader is that nobody ever wants to say, oh, this one's done and move on. The swing trader usually just sits there and watches their profits turn into losses. Oh, I'm a swing trader. Now I'll just wait for it to go back up. Fuck that noise. You own stocks when they're going up, and when they start to go down, you sell them. That's what makes me different than everybody else. You don't have to convince me to sell something. I hate every freaking stock. I hate the stock. I don't hate the stock market. I think most stocks are worthless. I think the market is a shell game, which it is. And I'm not emotionally equipped right now to be a long-term investor nor a swing trader, especially in the environment that we're in right now. So I have no problem just selling shit and just getting rid of it. Because remember, if you're selling your winners, you have to sell the losers too. Because if you're just left over with the losers, they get worse. You've already sold the winners. And then you're sitting there waiting for your losers to get better. They don't get better. They get worse, eating away at the profits that you already took on the winners. You have to sell it all at once. I call it the monster key. I don't give a fuck where these stocks are. Sold. Not even looking at price. Hitting the bid. Well, generally I throw offers in between bids and offers to see if I can get out in between. But generally I don't care. And now look. I mean, I was ready to load up. I was ready to put my life savings in this when it broke back over $7.50. It's at $4 now. I don't need to own stocks. I need to crush Morgan Stanley and Bank of America when they're crushable. I'm here to crush the UVXY. And if I get stopped out of these Qs, who cares at this point? But when earnings season starts, I go back to being a day trader because we have a trade that works every freaking time. Shorting UVXY and trading earnings reports. And it's the greatest trade ever. And by the way, UVXY short is just phenomenal. It's just phenomenal. Because even when you're wrong, you don't have to eat it unless you're trading over your head. All right. Good luck. Market has now kicked into a little bit more bullishness. I'm short UVXY. I got $1 to go on the Qs. If I get stopped out, like I said, I don't care. It's still a profit. I'm trying to milk the short, but my lessons that I've learned from 2012 to 2015, you can't stay short. But there's a world war coming. Shut up. It doesn't matter. World war, nuclear disasters, train derailments, SARS, COVID, inevitably you're going to have to cover your shorts. Just don't be crazy. Don't be foolish about it. When the time comes, you have your stop on, and that takes out your emotion of, oh man, I wish I would have covered down there, and now I'm getting stopped out. That's how trading works. All right. Good luck, my friends. UVXY, I was hoping it was going to go to $50 today so I could short more, but here it is. Good luck. I'll see you in cyberspace. And start coming to the site. I got an app. I got a new website coming out. I got all kinds of cool stuff. Just email me if I forgot you. Just email me again. I'll give you a new password. Everybody start hanging out. I want you guys to make some money and then inevitably hang forever, or as long as I'm doing this. All right. See ya. Good luck, everyone.